And then the only other game that's going on, which is of consequence, is the Welsh Welsh Cup.
Wales will have one team in the Champions Cup next year. It'll be either Ospreys or Scarlets. It's a huge game.
And that's happening this weekend. When is that? Is that Saturday?
Saturday afternoon, yes. So it's being hosted in the Liberty Stadium in Swansea. Ospreys have
a crowd of dozens.
Had more points, so they're going to get to host. It's a huge game. I mean, it's a huge game. I'm looking at the teams. They haven't been named yet, but just the general teams that are starting for both sides. You know, Alan Wynne-Jones and Tipuric for the Ospreys, and I think Adam Beard as well. But there's definitely a lot of big game players in that Ospreys pack that leads me to believe that they're definitely going to be on top in that area.
Which means it could be Ospreys again, which means they'll do nothing.
Exactly.
Which would be disappointing for the Champions Cup.
Well, they'll look to bully Scarlets.
They will. Scarlets have been eminently bullyable all year and have been super inconsistent as well. They just don't know what they're doing. It seems this year it's definitely been a step or two back for them. But I would still.
They have Patchell back.
They do have Patchell
back.
Like
they're one of the huge areas. Like Dan Jones has been in that 10 jersey all year, and Patchell is a huge step up in that department. They do have the technical players to make things happen in that back line for sure. They can strike and score tries, and sort of like the Leinster-Munster dilemma. If they do that, you don't see Ospreys responding in kind with any kind of stellar score. So their whole focus should really be on trying to produce those plays. I mean, I don't think they're going to be the match of Ospreys at scrum time or line out time or breakdown time. I mean, I think their whole thing has to be on their possession,
make it a
being
shootout,
as accurate as possible, attack, and look to those Ospreys backs to try and shut down what they do with the ball, and that could be the making or breaking of the game, whether the Ospreys can do that. From the Ospreys' perspective, as soon as Scarlets get the ball, you're going to expect to see Alan Wynne with hands in things, and things are
all
slowing.
Kinds of appendages in there. Like it's always when you see a team with a better pack going against a team with a better attack, it tends to be the pack that gets on top in those games on average.
Unless Ken Owens can make the Scarlets
make a difference,
make a difference of some description.
If he can get
he has a jackal game in him as well.
He has a number 8 game in him.
Yeah. He does it all.
He's class. He's just a really classy footballer. My hope is that Scarlets win that game. It is obviously away from home for them against a bigger pack and a more savvy one. So my suspicion is probably that Ospreys do it annoyingly. To annoy me, they will get into Europe and then lose 4 of their 6 games.
It's not just like they have the potential. Like obviously, I love Alan Wynne-Jones, Tipuric, and they have the potential to maybe make something happen. I don't think that either of these teams are in a place where they can creditably offer a real quarter-final threat
should though.
You would hope
Both
that one Welsh team should be able to do that. I would go for Scarlets because I think they're better stadium with fans that bring more noise and colour. Their team play more attacking
traditional
footy.
Club with a more storied history. For many reasons I prefer the Scarlets to the Ospreys. And I'm probably not alone in that line of thinking. But I also am worried for them because I can never trust Scarlets to do anything when it comes down to the business end.
And as you say, it's the pack. It's the Ospreys pack, forward pack, and they're like those two guys in Tipuric and Alan Wynne are genuine top class test players and Lions.
Sure.
Those guys are going to do some damage, I would suspect, to the Scarlets pack. But it's a fun game in that sense because even if the Ospreys are on top, Scarlets can strike. If the Ospreys fall asleep for some plays, if it's going to plan and they're 6-0 up, all Scarlets can rub that out in a moment.
Exactly. So it's the advantage of being the team that emphasises on focuses on tries as well. Is that no lead feels unassailable when you're banging in tries.
I hope whoever wins the game does themselves in Welsh rugby justice in next year's tournament, and I hope that the game itself isn't like Scarlets. For all we talk about their ability to attack, I mean their last game of the season was a defeat against the Dragons that they may have needed to win. They didn't in the end, but they may have needed to win it, and they lost against the Dragons. And so many of those Welsh derbies this year have been just coloured by mistakes and slow play and scrums and uncertainty.
Which is so strange in a Grand Slam year.
It's telling about where their club's for the most part seem to be at sea, all of them, and Cardiff are kind of like the Sharks equivalent, as in the Sharks in South Africa are the most admirable team because they're together. They may not have all or any of the talent, but at least they're a team, damn it. And Cardiff are a little like that, but they have fallen short themselves, as the Sharks probably will in the end. And we're left with this Bulls Lions equivalent shootout. And I don't know who's going to get it done. But I'm hopeful that the winning team, which is the bigger story, whoever it may be, comes to Europe with something. And I think I'm hopeful that the Scarlets get it done as well.
Thank you very much for watching that video. If it's your first time here, please leave a like and subscribe down below, and leave a comment as well if you enjoyed it, because we enjoyed the conversation.